Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue our exploration of how Chinese make meaning, build up from its most basic visual icons. Okay, so I've been doing this recent episodes based on the incidents in early August that of Chinese students painted core socialist values on the walls in UK. And then these are all Chinese character made concepts. That's kind of a translation of mostly Western concepts. So it's a good jumping board for us to take off our journey today. It's about 爱国, love, nation. And just by the combination of love, nation, can you tell what that is? It's nationalism or patriotism. Okay, so this love concept, it's kind of mystical, right? Even in English vocabulary, even if this is just 4-letter, it looks like easy, right? But it's really hard to define. So here is how Chinese culture, at least back then, define it visually. Okay, so this kind of like a fork looking thing with one line going across, that actually is an ancient foot or footwear. Definitely not like Nike looking sneaker that's molded, right? Complicated stuff. It was simple structure back then. I guess it's kind of looking like a flip-flops that you can put your toes through. I guess you can also imagine Japanese people wearing the kind of a wooden sole with straps over it, so that your foot is lifted above ground. You're not touching the ground directly, to protect your foot, and but it's kind of open-toed, right? So I guess ancient times the footwear development was quite a recent thing. So this is a visual abstraction of the footwear, and you can see there are 2 feet over there. 2 feet, I should say. So 2 feet in different directions, okay? Top and bottom, 2 feet. So that could mean 2 individuals involved, but kind of walking around together, kind of like a dance. Okay, the middle is a heart symbol. I believe it's a heart symbol. I didn't really, it looks a little bit different from the heart symbol in other renderings, but basic structure, it looks like a chamber. So heart is a pump, right? And then it has tubes go in, go out, and with the third tube to supply the blood for the heart itself. So it kind of looks like go in, go out, and then the third tube. So love was a function of something within, like an internal that you feel. You cannot really, it's observable only through behavior, so through words, right? But it's internal feeling. It's individual feelings that you cannot really tell how you truly feel inside you, right? So the wrapping around, this wrapping thing means it's a private, it's separate, it has a boundary. It has an internal, external boundary. And you can see it's not closed. So there is opening. So there is exchange. One way say in English, open-minded, open, right? This is a Chinese way to express open. Even if you have this private sphere, within the sphere, there was at least a segment of it that's open to the outside world, that you can do this exchange of like updating, informing, or maybe damaging, even like part of you is open to the outside stimulations, right? So this, nonetheless, this almost like a question mark looking thing is a space separator, but it's not fully excluded. So there is this opening to exchange, right? So the heart in the middle is your private sphere, surrounded by only you, your own consciousness, right? And then this 2-person walking around each other. So it's kind of a rudimentary depiction of what may happen, because it's between two individuals, and then have your emotional state at stake, right? And it's internal feeling. And we can also view this question mark of this private versus outside sphere as like, that's something eventually the two person are going to step in and build of this kind of enclosure private space from the outside. So I'm not sure if this love concept was created before marriage as an institution, because Chinese have the practice of marriage captured in the marriage itself, that concept. But I'm not sure if this has anything to do with marriage yet, but it's this private space, emotional state, two people involved, and there is this sense of boundary, sense of exclusivity that, again, I want to point out there is opening up there. So you can see that there is this complexity in there, and it's a lot captured in this 2D frame. So that's the beginning of Chinese rendering of love. And of course, eventually later on, cultures, centuries of cultures of love stories in both East, West, right? All nations have their own rendering of love stories to kind of concrete the concept of love for the later readers or people in that culture. So this is the Chinese way. All right. 国, you see now we have an enclosure. No open border there, okay? It's a closed border piece of land. Within it, there's military force. You see this jarring, sharp-ended is a weaponry. It was understood that it was a type of farming tool, but in time of wartime, it can easily be converted to a weaponry. So that's weapon. This can be regarded as a symbol of population, as people living, mouse means somebody who can speak, but mostly somebody who need food, who is also a production member and also consumption of the resources on this land. And this horizontal line can mean the ground, the land. So this is the border with people, population, place, this land, natural resources, all represented abstract in there, and military. It's pretty oversized. Like you need big military power to protect this close border thing. So that's the definition of 国, that's nation concept. Okay, so 爱国 means patriotism. So I want to, when I was searching for 爱国, of course, in Chinese, if I search, easily came across this frame to show you, to demonstrate 爱国主义教育, patriotism education to young kids. You can see to this graders that they were presented this wartime image of how 国 composed of military, the weapons, the sharp edge things, that this is your country, and people shed their blood to create this nation for you. So all of you are kind of privileged to be here, that you're indebted to the people who died for you, kind of like that, right? And notice this sign, this is communist symbol, right? Scissor and hammer, agriculture and industrial powers or resources. That this communist symbol, big and bold and bright, in this room that's supposed to tell about the formation of the country. And you can see this is a subtle image to present that this connection, that your nation, your country kind of connected to communism, this idea of how society should be formed, should be organized. So these two become like connected, even not equal, but highly connected. So from the young age, kids growing up in China were educated like, as such, was told such narrative. So they are called for to be loyal because people died for you, and to grow their loyalty also to the communism party or ideology, and eventually become party member. So that's the early childhood education almost, to brand this equalizing communism idea to your country, all packed together. So that's the kind of patriotism education early on in China. All right, cash into the consumer thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.